We are changing the Ghats of Banaras to the new age, new age city.
Let's start.
Some of Ayodhya. Okay, I'll start, sir. I will have a little bit of a formal introduction to the community. So, good day, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. The Azad Hind Fauj community, the reason we are here, it's a platform, social media platform that we have created. It is to bring the armed forces personnel serving veterans to support the community network, to train the younger generation, to motivate them, to help them look forward to join the service, serve the nation. We also offer book writing and publishing assistance for the veteran community. And in addition, on need basis, we are here to help youngsters coach, train for the entrance examination, including NDA, CDS, and other military examinations. The reason for the nomenclature is obviously from Netaji's Subhash Chandra Bose's leadership and his military style of functioning that has inspired the founder, and that's the reason we are here. So in the series of sessions, the YouTube sessions that we host, today we have our esteemed guest, Col Sandeep Sharma, who's here with us from Bharat, sitting in Banaras or Varanasi. 35 years of serving in the Corps of Signals in the Army. Now he's taken on a bigger role. He comes with a lot of accomplishments under his belt. He certainly started as a BSc graduate, Kolkata, B Electronics from Prayagraj. Has got MTech, PGDBM, and also now he's pursuing artificial intelligence doctorate. In the Indian Army, he's been exceptional, has had seen exceptional career. He was in the MCTE. He was HOD in MCTE, which is Military College of Telecommunications Engineering at MAU. And he was also a soldier, so he's served and took active role in the counter-terrorist or counter-insurgency areas in Jammu and Kashmir and Northeast. He's been awarded the commendation card from the Northern Army Commander, and also very uniquely, he's been he's received Scientist in Uniform Award. Now, multiple interests he has, which includes the barefoot running, teaching, learning, healing, environmental issues, and Sanatan wisdom. Now, interestingly, after his retirement, he was appointed by the UP government and sent to Ayodhya. Thereafter, seeing his accomplishments during and after Prant Pratishtha in Ayodhya, he has been moved on his own request to take on the next big assignment, which is Banaras or Varanasi, which is where his accomplishments will come to fore again for next 5 years. So today, we want to listen to his story. We want to engage him through our questions. So, sir, the way we do it is anything between 15 to 20 minutes of your story, your experiences from the Army, the journey that you have, and the lessons that you have for all of us. And from the audience, we will start inviting the questions. You are free to send your questions in the chat, and we will call you out. You are free to engage. We want this to be a platform where everyone is able to engage. Hindi or English, हम जिसमें भी बात करना चाहें हम कर सकते हैं. That is, English is certainly not the only means of communication. Sir, जैसा आपको comfortable लगे, that is how. The audience is global, but we are all Bharatiya at the end of the day. With that, sir, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Himanshu. Before I start, a couple of clarifications. Firstly, I was told 40 minutes of talk. You are talking about 20 minutes or something.
Actually, let me clarify, sir. When I say 20 minutes, it is uninterrupted 20 minutes. Thereafter, it will be, we would like it to be more questions and answers. We would like to engage with you. There are, I'm sure, as we have seen, questions come in. We would like to make sure that you are able to answer all those questions which come with the kind of experiences that you will share. So certainly, we will be very flexible, sir. If you have more to speak, we will not interrupt you. But 20 minutes, certainly 20 to 25 minutes, uninterrupted to you.
In that case, I would like to welcome questions at any point of time.
I appreciate it, sir. That is my goal as well, because that makes it more interactive. Everyone is not only hearing, but is an equal partner in this whole debate.
Because there are not too many people. Since there are not too many people, it can be, I think we can afford it.
Absolutely, sir. Okay,
so
over to you, sir.
Yeah. So before I start, one thing I want to just look at my background, everybody. Good evening, everybody, and just look and Jai Shri Ram. Look at the background behind me. What is the significance? Can anybody tell? Anything? I mean, most of you who had visited Jammu Kashmir wouldn't have gone there. You may have missed. It's called. This place is called Shiv Khodi in the Riyasi district. Recently, a heinous attack took place there. Small children died. I mean, our heart bleeded all over India. We had actually felt the pain. To tell you the fact, this is the place where my story had actually taken place. Riyasi district is the place, because when I was given a ring from the Azad Hind organization, I was wondering what topic to take. And then I remembered just a day prior to I got the ring, this incident has happened. This terrorist attack has taken place. This Shiv Khodi is actually the place where Bhasmasur story took place. If you know Bhasmasur story, there was a demon whom Shiva had given a boon. जिसके सिर पर हाथ रखेगा वो भस्म हो जाएगा. Then he runs after Shiva himself. And then Shiva goes and hides in this cave. That is the story for this Shiv Khodi, where the attack took place last week. So this is a beautiful place, and Shiva kept hiding years there. And then when he came out in the form of the Mohini, that Vishnu came as Mohini avatar, and he danced and he put his hand on the head, and Shiva and the demon was emulating Bhasmasur, and that is how he died. So this is the spot for that. So I just kept it as a background for memory of those who died there. So my introduction had been enough. I don't want to get into that. But as I told you, that Riyasi district, this Shiv Khodi is part of Riyasi district. Incidentally, Vaishno Devi, starting from Vaishno Devi, this place entire is into Riyasi district of Jammu Kashmir. Little known district, places are known well, but not the district. So before I come to what happened in the story that happened in Riyasi, I will take you to my life during 1996-98. I was an officer who was not much into counter-terrorist operations or things. I always hated terrorism, always disliked the terrorism. I just wanted to finish all terrorists. That thing was there always, but never that zeal was not there. That drive was not there. So in 1996-98, I went to Northeast for the posting. And in the Northeast, there was a 2 mountain div where I was serving. And I was one of the Brigade Sparrow. Brigade Sparrow is, you are a signal company OC. And then there was a General Jolly Ranjan Mukherjee, very famous character, Assam Regiment, very famous character. So there was a receiver equipment. Receiver means where you can get universal transmissions, you can keep receiving. You rotate the knob digitally, automatically you can also rotate, and you can keep listening to all the nearby transmitters. So there was a receiver in which we could intercept what terrorists are talking, but we could never locate. And this General Mukherjee was after me. He would chase me, that you do something with this, you put on your head, you walk with this, you will get something. He used to give ideas. That he was an infantry officer, but he had a lot of technical acumen. So we never took him seriously. We used to laugh over him during the evenings in the officers' mess. We used to laugh at him, and we used to just make joke out of him. This never happened. So, but that thing was there. What he had given us, that foul words were not doing that. Later on, worked like magic actually. So I had no electronic warfare background. In army, there is something called electronic warfare, where these things are done, where you intercept the transmissions, you locate the transmitters, where it is located. This is called direction finding by triangulation. You receive from 3 different places through 3 directional antennas. You make a straight line wherever they intersect. You make a triangle out of that centroid, and that triangulation, when a small triangle is made, That is where your direction finding, your DF is there. That is how we knew about this much of electronic warfare, but we didn't know anything much about electronic warfare. That remains like a mystery for us. In year 2001, I got a course. I was nominated for a course on electronic warfare. So there I learned the basics of EW. But still, I was not a EW officer per se. There are EW officers, electronic warfare officers, who full time are into electronic warfare. Those units, highly top secret confidential things they do. We don't know, we can't enter those units. They do a lot of things there. We have no idea. I had no such background. But since I had no such background, this course had given me a spark. Okay, what can be done? What new thing can be done? So by the time I finished that 2001, and then I was retained at the MCT as instructor after the course. So I continued there for 2 years. That again, while being at MCT, gave me a lot of confidence that okay, something can be done on what General Mukherjee had said. Little bit of spark was there, very little bit. In year 2004-6, 2004 to 2006, that was a turning point when I went to Rashtriya Rifle. This was my, I think, third city ops tenure, counter-terrorist operation tenure, where actually I had 5 tenures. If you count Punjab also in my first unit, then I had 5 counter-terrorist operation units. So this was my third or fourth, I think, tenure, 15 sector RR, where initially I went to, again in the Riyasi district, same district Riyasi, I went to Buddhal, where in Buddhal, there's a place called Buddhal, where my commander was attacked with a grenade. He was almost lying, unattended, and he would have actually died. And there was nobody to see him. I took out my signal company, I single-handedly evacuated him. But that gave me a lot of impact. When seeing your commander on the ground is actually demoralizing. And I wanted to do something to contribute to get the unit's morale back. And that is a time once I was checking my store, I came across this something called jammers. Those who don't know about jammer, but people may have some idea about jammer, because mobile phone jammers you must have heard. Anywhere jammers are there, people will stop receiving signals from any transmitter. So that jammer, we got some jammer from Army Commander Fund, and that jammer with its Yagi antenna. Now Yagi antenna is something similar to, in good old times you must have seen TV antennas with a dipole, with the aluminum 4-5 array of 4-5 thin rods put across a vertical section, and in a horizontally position 4-5 antennas are there. And in between, in one of them is dipole, which goes complete circuit, if you had seen that. So that antenna and jammer I saw. So I took it out because I had just done EW course at MCT. So I thought I can do something about that. And there I actually started playing around with that, because jammer was not something really required. I needed to find the location of the terrorists. Now they used to use walkie-talkies. So how to use walkie-talkie? How do I get up to them? A lot of ideas started. It was like it was totally. My mind was having so many ideas. It was very difficult to put the things, because it was all in clutter. We didn't know how to do, what to do. In between, while I was working, I actually did get an idea to convert jammer into direction finding antenna. How? This same AR5000 receivers, which I told you earlier, which General Mukherjee used to tell, I combined this jammer antenna with the AR5000 receiver. And once I combined this with these Japanese AR5000 receivers with the jammer antenna, I started
I think there is some disruption. Adarsh, are you still online?
Yeah, sorry, a call came. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm
no
back.
worries, sir.
There was a clutter. Okay, I hope I'm audible till now.
You're audible, sir.
Anybody, any question? Because some technical terms were used till now. Anybody who wants to clarify anything?
अगर आप ऑडियंस में से किसी का भी क्वेश्चन है तो वी आर वेरी हैप्पी टू टेक द क्वेश्चन. आप चैट में भेज दीजिए और यू कैन रेज योर हैंड. देयर इज एन ऑप्शन यू कैन रेज योर हैंड.
Jammer, receiver, electronic warfare, all these things. I mean, I hope they are not getting confused. They are very simple terms, I believe, because आज के दिन में इतना इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सभी जानते हैं. या राकेश जी, Rakesh, you are asking something.
सर लोकल मास्टर जी नहीं है तो पढ़ा कि नहीं हमारा घर में बोल.
Pardon? I think I should continue.
You should, sir.
You should continue.
There is a question, but that is not pertaining to what you have spoken so far. We'll come to that.
Right. Okay. Right. Fine. So by that time I had now in Rashtriya Rifle in RR. Those who don't know about army will not be knowing. Rashtriya Rifles are a kind of conglomerate of different forces, different type of infantries, ASC, AOC, different arms, different services. They are pulled together to make Rashtriya Rifle. Very effective organization to take on terrorists. They are very well equipped. But unfortunately, they have no electronic warfare resources in their hand. And that is where I got worked up. And that is where I started thinking that, okay, I must do something on my own. So once I came across these jammers, I converted those jammers into direction finding antennas by changing by actually integrating with the receivers, AR5000 receivers. And thus I start getting the triangulation of the anywhere terrorists talking. I would listen. Not only I would listen, I will be able to locate. I used to get them located. While other officers in the Rashtriya Rifle in my neighboring units or all over Indian Army were not able to do anything about their location, I was finding their locations. But however, it so happened that I found that these on trial, that these direction finding, these direction finders are these direction finders, that locations that they are giving are inaccurate to 1 kilometer. I found at least 1 kilometer or maybe more, sometimes more. Now 1 kilometer in mountain is too much. I could give at the radius of 1 kilometer. I could tell my fighting people, those who were the fighters, those company commanders, CEOs of my sector units. I used to tell them, but I used to tell them at the radius of 1 kilometer. But finding the terrorist within 1 kilometer in a population, civil population, is very difficult, where everybody looks similar. In J&K, they all look similar with the same beard, same kind of clothing. They would gel with the people. Very difficult to locate somebody there. And so it was becoming increasingly difficult. I would give them the DF, but they will not be getting the kill. Once in a while, some kills were there. Now, another interesting fact is these were inaccurate by 1 kilometer radius, but nevertheless, my direction finding and results were better than most direction finding data given by the signal groups or wireless experimental units. What they will give, I used to give better than them. And I had better chances of getting a kill than them. So that, and with zero expenditure, no expenditure was there, because antennas were available with jammer, AR5000 receiver was there. I just had to integrate without any expenditure. So this actually equipped me with something, but it was not enough. I also realized it is not enough. By that time, my unit has moved from Buddhal to, in the same Riyasi district, place called Mahor. So once we reached Mahor, it was a blessing in disguise, in the sense that that place was hilly, mountainous, and it had small jungle also within our deployment. And the best part was it was isolation from the company, and within the unit, my own unit was isolated from rest of the deployment. And I would sit in one place and I could be totally meditate upon what is problem, how to solve it. So 24 hours that question will go into my mind, and I used to get, and the existence used to give answer. The best part is I didn't put in much of effort. Answers would come automatically. Whose blessing it was, I don't know. But as I will tell you in future, I witnessed so many miracles being there. I will share some of these also. So once in that deployment, I actually started thinking what else can be done, how I can improve this 1 kilometer of inaccuracy. And I slowly, I was getting some idea, but I was still clueless that what to do. But incidentally, both these places, Budhal and Mahor, before we entered there, they were called as mini Pakistan. Okay. So when I got posted, that place was just like Pakistan, they used to say. Nobody could walk there. But by the time I got posted out, it was all cleaned up. Area was cleaned up of all terrorists. So while I was there, in my quest to improve, I came across a nice book called Transmitter Hunting. One of my CEO, he went to USA. He got a book. He knew my passion, and I would always discuss with him कि करना क्या है, कैसे करना है, how to reach up to the terrorist. We are taking the fighting elements up to 1 kilometer short of terrorists. But 1 kilometer is like you have to cross an ocean to reach him. Very difficult. You just can't do it. And especially in mountain terrain, even 100 meters matter a lot in mountain. In a mountain, if you are 100 meter off, means it can be even 1 kilometer may take 4 or 5 hours of journey. By if it is uphill or something, 4-5 घंटा आपको locate करने में लग जाएगा. So by that time, terrorists will not wait for you. They'll run away somewhere. So it was of no use. And entire Indian army was working on this DF thing only. Everybody was talking of DF only. So basically, there was zero contribution from electronic warfare in getting these terrorists killed. That's what I mean. So, so once I found that book, Transmitter Hunting, and that is a time, it was year 2004. Internet has started. Google has already started there. It was already there. But I never got the idea from Google or anything about this. But once I read that book, Transmitter Hunting, I found that in USA, just like golfers, there is something called transmitter hunting. Like you play here in India or maybe in many countries, people play in the weekends, people go out, they play golf in a wooden area, in a jungle area, or in area which has got lot of green area where you go and play golf. So something similar, but not golf. They even utilize golf courses for that. This is called transmitter hunting. So in transmitter hunting, what they do is they will hide a transmitter somewhere and the teams will go and locate. The team which reaches first to the transmitter wins. And this transmitter hunting is also called as fox hunting or bunny hunting. So when I read that book, I realized. So after reading that book, I actually started surfing. Internet has just come. Google has just come. So I started searching from that, whatever material was available. And I found, and to my surprise, I found plenty of material. But no material meeting what I exactly need. It only gave me an idea that, okay, transmitter can be reached. If in transmitter hunting, those amateurs, those transmitter hunting enthusiasts, if they can reach up to transmitter, why can't I? That came to my mind. Now they are very competitive game. They don't disclose what they are doing, what is theory behind them. But it is just possible, I understood from there. And some of their antenna designs I got. So I made my Jawans whom I was commanding, I made them design those antennas. I emulate those antennas. I had given them sketch, photographs, engineering drawing of those antennas. We had fabricated those antennas, and then we carried out trials. those antennas were somewhat okay, but not still what I wanted. So what I started doing was, with these antennas, I equipped several teams of my unit. My unit boys were divided in several teams. They were equipped with these antennas, and then I started hiding transmitter. And I also myself used to go with the team trying to locate the transmitter. And then we started locating, and it became a hobby, and people became addicted to that hobby, to my surprise. I mean, moment they will finish lunch at maybe 1 o'clock, 1:30, they are over with lunch, they will rush to me, ki sir khele aaj wo transmitter thing. I called them, it's a game. I never told them what is my overall intention. And they loved that, because in J&K, there's not much of entertainment. There's not much of amenity there. करेंगे क्या, बोर हो जाते हैं वहां रह के. तो I started hiding transmitter, and the team will burst. The team which goes first, in the evening, they will get 1 or 2 peg extra during the drink. So this was the incentive, and they will do for it. And that is how they actually became better. Now, while they were doing that, idea of homing in came to me. I thought of a word myself that, okay, let me call reaching up to transmitter homing in. Nobody else was using the word anywhere, neither in net nor in the book. Now, while we were doing this, we were playing this game kind of thing. We learned that while moving towards increased direction of RF is radio power which is floating around you. And if you are trying to move in the increased, and when you are moving with the receiver and that DF equipment that I had made and antennas that we had modified, with those modified antenna, and the equipment has a RF meter, radio power meter. If you moved in the increased direction of radio power, you invariably land at the transmitter, I found. And to my surprise, and that is where I coined the term myself, homing in. And once I started homing in, every time we go and play, we started becoming better and better. And we started observing a particular pattern. Logic was not really understood. Logic, why this is happening? Why we are reaching right up to transmitter if we are moving in the increased direction of RF? It was not understood. It was also noticed that while I am going up to transmitter, the path is in the manner of curve. Path I am taking is in the curve linear method. And I was surprised that why it is happening. And then during that time, I was trying to by heart Ram Raksha Stotra. If you may have heard, there is something called Ram Raksha Stotra. Ram Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranam Tattulyam Ram Nam Varunane. So I was trying to by heart that Ram Raksha Stotra. So during that time I was stuck at para 20. And para 20, my memory that time was not very bad, not very good also. But in every hymn, every 2-line hymn, I would by heart in 2-3 days. That was my average pace of learning that stotra. So at the para 20, I got stuck for a week. I don't know why. And in the nights, and the para 20 is very interesting. Ki Rakshana Imam Ram Lakshmana Vagrata Pathi Sadaiva Gachatam. Vagratah Pathi Sadaiva Gachatam. It is in the para 20. Now Vagratah Pathi Sadaiva, and I would never remember it as, I will always call Vagratah. Vagratah means in front. May Ram and Lakshman be in front of me. And when I do this, Vagratah, I started calling Vakratah. Vakra means curve. Now मैं अर्थ का अनर्थ सोच रहा हूं, लेकिन उसमें मीनिंग निकल के आ रही है. And in the night when I used to sleep, I used to get up and calling Vagrata Pati, and I used to get dream about that in the curve, Ram and Lakshman moving in curve linear method. And then suddenly one fine day I jumped from the middle of the sleep. Okay, Vakrata means that curve linear path is explained. And that reminded me of a spiral. And then why it is inverse square law. The radio waves follow inverse square law, like gravitation. In gravitation also, there is something called inverse square law. If you increase the distance, gravitation force reduces. If you decrease the distance, force increases. And this changes at inverse proportional, 1 by r square. And radio wave is also same. So I started correlating with gravity. if gravity में वो inverse square law हो रहा है तो इसमें भी हो रहा है, so path should be spiral. So my path to reach up to transmitter in walking with the increased radio power, I will be reaching up to transmitter. Now this while doing this, we also experimented some more experimentation. I had some ideas, like for example, after moving a particular distance, we used to remove that Yagi antenna, and we used to use paper pin. All pin बोलते हैं ना, ऑफिस का होता है paper pin, all pin, small all pin, needle जैसा. We started using that as antenna for the proximity, sensing proximity. And once very close, at a point of time, we used to remove that all pin also without any antenna, with the equipment and with the direction finding. And we used to hit right at the transmitter. And this was quickly reported to, and this set a competition within unit, and we started doing with the 100% success. Now our efficiency was suddenly so good. What used to take 2-3 hours to locate a transmitter within a small garrison, now it was taking 5 minutes, 10 minutes, normal walking time kind of thing. And to our surprise, suddenly our men were so expert in that, you hide transmitter anywhere and they will go and pick it up anywhere from anywhere. It just a walking time. So with that, I carried out local trials. All trials were 100% success. Matter was reported to commander. Again, commander reported his trial. Commander's trial was also 100% success. Then matter was given to div. Div in case of RR is it is called force, and my force was uniform force. There was a Parsi gentleman who was GOC. He ordered the trial, and again the trial was 100% success, full success. He had recommended to Corps. We went to Corps. Corps ordered a trial, again 100% success. Anywhere they will hide the antenna with the local resources with zero expenditure. Now, interesting thing is, while at Corps, some of the people asked me that you had made an antenna with zero expenditure. आप पेपर पिन को यूज कर रहे हो, आप पेपर पिन को क्यों यूज कर रहे हो, आप सिल्वर का एंटीना बनाओ. It was Congress time. You know what kind of corruption was there that time. It was even in army that time. So I was told, remove the paper pin and put a silver pin or gold pin there. At least we'll get some money also, and your project will also be successful. I refused to do that. Okay. Then I was at that time at command headquarters at Northern Command at Udhampur. There was an innovation mela taking place. So I went there, and my project was demonstrated there. General Kapoor later on became chief, army chief. He saw this thing, and he awarded me with a chief army commander's commendation card on the spot. And after that, he also awarded me with the Scientist in Uniform award. Both are today showing in my drawing room. I had displayed them with a proud this thing. I'll try sending the photographs to you can next class or somebody. I'll display that. Then army commander had sent again for trials, and this time I was sent on a helicopter all over Jammu and Kashmir. So I will go from various garrison to garrison, demonstrating the equipment with a complete 100% success anywhere we go. Interestingly, while at Srinagar, when we were at Srinagar during our demonstration, a French equipment has just arrived. It was called T1, and that has an antenna which was it was called gun antenna, and with that you can locate any transmitter. It was claimed. So best part is that the Corps commander at 15 Corps, that is at Srinagar, he asked me to compete with that equipment. Now those equipments were purchased for not crores, अरबों के equipment थे वो, millions and millions dollar के वो equipment, French equipment जो आया था, और हमारा जो हुआ, we were put in a helipad, a transmitter was hidden, and we and the people handling French equipment were put together. Race started. French equipment has not even moved even 1 or 2 meters. By that time, we had gone and located the transmitter. And thereafter, and mind you, it was zero expenditure. Again, एक पैसा भी खर्च नहीं मेरा, जो भी है लोकल रिसोर्सेज यूज करके किया था मैंने. और उसके बाद that French equipment thing, उसके बाद they got cheesed off. The unit which actually got that equipment imported, that they called for more demo. They said this can be a fluke. It was carried out at least 100 times, and all 100 times, every time we had beaten that, but beaten the French equipment like anything. And we were every time first to reach there, and it was proved decisively that what we had done is something unique thing has happened. However, I got the trial was over. I traveled helicopter. I tried to educate. I was told to educate other people. I did that, but I realized I could not be everywhere. So I realized that thing is, some people out of their interest are trying to copy this thing, and I was more than happy. During this time, I was told to patent the discovery. It was a kind of invention what I had done, so I was told to patent it. And in fact, many senior officers told me, you must resign and join. You must launch your own company, or you should collaborate with some Israeli company. You will earn millions and billions of dollars. So I was in service that time. My passion was to get all terrorists killed. So I suddenly started getting bigger ideas. Bigger ideas was, see, all terrorists have to. My idea came to me was that all terrorists have to have communication. Terrorists cannot be without communication. And what kind of communication they can have? They can have just three kinds of communication. Lines they will never use. They will never use BSNL lines. They will use just three communications. They will use either they will use a walkie-talkie, or they will use a mobile phone, or third thing is they will use a satellite phone. If we can, what I had invented was an equipment, just invented an equipment for walkie-talkie. If we also make a homing in equipment for mobile and satellite phone, we can locate every single terrorist. Suddenly, I started making PowerPoints and started giving presentations all over, that how every single terrorist can be killed if I get particular these resources. How 100% terrorists can be killed. So with this idea, and nothing much was happening on ground. Things have their own inertia. Things don't move. People who were carrying out operation in the previous way, they continued previous way. Some of the people tried using my method, like my own commander started using my method, and on my suggestion, he said, okay, 3 teams will approach the terrorists from 3 different directions and home in and squeeze the terrorists. We were getting 100% terrorists. Based on my invention only, hundreds of terrorists have been killed already. Now, but however, since nothing was happening thereafter, the perfection with which I wanted this to happen, so I wrote to, that is the time, then Chief General J.J. Singh, there was a General J.J. Singh, who started something called Dreamers Club. So I wrote to him on on Dreamers Club that I had done so and so. However, I still feel sad that some terrorists are still roaming around and they can be killed if my idea can be used. So he called me to Delhi for presentation. Now my presentation was given to him. My presentation was given to DG Infantry, to DG RR, DG Rashtriya Rifle, DG MI, DG MO, DG Military Operations. All these places I had given demonstrations. They all carried out trial. They all made their own trial report. They all agreed that it is 100% success. However, by the time General JJ had written that officer be given full assistance so that all terrorists can be killed, so I was sent to MS. I was sent to MS branch. We have a MS branch who gives the posting. I went to MS branch. They told me, you go to Israel. You go to Israel for 3-4 years. With your idea, you work with them. So that is the time. I said I want MCTE MOV, and I asked for MCTE MOV as a posting. And there, being as a HOD, I was in a position to design my own project with the students. So various BTech and MTech students, I would give them the project. So I did 30 odd projects on counter-terrorist operations. However, I could not integrate them into one single thing. What I had in my mind was a universal homing in equipment. An equipment which three things that I told you that terrorists use. Any of these 3, plus I use some other things also later on, calling it as a universal homing in equipment. So how to get So that however didn't take place. So I asked for a, by that time I was posted to CDM, College of Defense Management. From in the College of Defense Management, couple of things happened very nicely for me. One thing is my papers were, I was told to write more and more papers on this, and I wrote at least 4 or 5 papers on how to make counterterrorism more efficient, how to ensure 100% success. Every time a terrorist is targeted, he's killed. Started writing on such and I delivered my paper in Indian Institute of Science, where I got a standing ovation from the scientific community. Everybody agrees, but people are not doing, and I will get uneasy why people are not working on that. And then I asked for DRDO posting. During that time, I asked for DRDO posting. And when I asked for DRDO, I was given a posting for PXC Balasore. PXC Balasore is actually a range, missile range. So I refused to go there. I kept asking for DRDL. They never gave me DRDL. I was then sent to NCC. And however, one thing happened in this between was I was sent to ATB. In RTRAC, there is an Army Training Command at Shimla, where actually I was told to give a presentation about my plan. What happens is in the ATB, all IIT directors come there, and the and the special secretary to defense minister and chief, they also come there, and they actually make a list of projects which IITs have to do for defense forces, for army especially. So when I had given the presentation, 3 IITs were ready to take on my project. And one of them, I remember that IIT Roorkee, there was one Dr. Dharmendra Singh from IIT Roorkee. He said, I am doing this, whether it is through army or not. I said, no, I am a soldier. I will not bypass channel. I will not come to you directly. But he was very keen to do this. He said, everything you are talking can be done. We can make a universal homing and equipment. So that universal homing and equipment meant dream. And by that time, I was sent to, and however, in ATB, it was general, there was the general who was commanding RTRAC. I won't name him, but he chickened out. He chickened out because he said we are not doing it, because that is the time a scam on mobile telephony has happened. A scam, Manmohan Singh, if you remember, Manmohan Singh ministry 2G, 3G scam was there. And seeing that, he said, we are not going to burn our fingers. We will not do this. Don't talk of mobile phone anywhere. Then we will do it. I said, no, mobile phone is must in my project. So this is how it didn't go to IITs. He refused to forward it to IITs, in spite of the fact that IITs were willing to take on. Then I was posted to NCC. And in 2014, a change came when Manmohan Singh has gone and Modi became the Prime Minister. Moment Modi became the Prime Minister, I wrote a long letter, 2 mails to him, to Modi. I wrote to PM directly that, see, I am posted in NCC today. My project, I had how to kill all terrorists. Today I had been sent to NCC like a punishment. And I had, this is nothing. And I was expecting Modi to take a strong action. To my surprise, even Modi had not done anything. People told me Modi will not do anything because these politicians don't interfere in army matters. So I was told, and I was already told by people, and it actually so happened. So, however, it didn't work out for me. In between, in 2019, I retired from army. After retirement from 2019, I got in army, we get 4 years extra as re-employment. Moment I got re-employment, I found here is a chance to go to Kashmir again. And so in my moment after I retirement, I volunteered for my re-employment. I volunteered for Kashmir, and I got it at Srinagar. Now at Srinagar, I tried to revive my project, my best. But you know, a retired officer, people think, okay, he's unnecessarily interfering in our work. So I was not given. However, good things happened while being there. I did my Ironman triathlon. I started reverse aging with my experiment on my health and things like that. I swam across the Dal. Every Sundays I will go on cycle. I'm talking about the time when 370 was not removed. There was not much of security. I would go after the lunch. I will take the cycle and go around the Lal Chowk. I crossed Dal. So personal achievements are these only. So nothing much happened in the after retirement re-employment at Kashmir. So, however, the best thing that happened about some interesting thing that with that I will sum up. Nothing much to add now. One thing is that during my I had total 5 counter-terrorist operations service tenures, and in none of these tenures I carried weapon with me. I never took a guard also with me. I used to go all alone without any weapon, because I feel if I carry weapon, I am inviting for a fire on me. It was a kind of experiment with the non-violence also. Several times I got warned also from the higher senior officers also, that why you are not carrying weapon, why you are not carrying guard with you. Officers are supposed to move around with the guards. I never used to take the guard. I used to go alone, walking, running, all those things. So, but nothing happened to me. That is one thing, beautiful thing has happened to me. What I learned was, if you are not showing aggression, nobody will attack you. I mean, even if they attack me, I mean, theek hai, they will be located. No, if somebody attacks me, he'll be located and killed by somebody. So that was the thing in the mind. Then Ram Raksha miracle, I told you that Vakrata, odd thing to tell, but for me it was a big thing. For others who are not listening may not be a big thing, but for me it was, Prabhu Ram ne to bahut special cheez mujhe di thi, wo gift. So that is one thing. And then at least 3-4 times I met the life threatening dangers, but I survived. When I was going to collect my commendation card award, my vehicle was standing with the three wheels up, only one wheel and a stone there, and I could have been inside the valley. My bones would have become powder. But how I was saved, I don't know. That vehicle, how it was standing only on one wheel, to this date, I don't get answer. Amazing things had happened. If your intention is good, you are thinking of bigger things for your country or for your society, there is a hidden power which supports you, which I felt clearly. I mean, your seniors, juniors may not support, but there is a power which carries you all through. I had
May I
even,
interrupt you, sir, for a moment. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm about to wind up.
Wind up, but there are questions which have come.
Okay.
So your story or your experiences are so immersive. I'd been thinking of interrupting and asking questions, but somehow not been able to, because you've done wonderful thing. So if you allow me, sir, I will take few questions.
Yeah, please.
Thank you so much, sir. We have from Animitra Chakrabarti. That is the first question, which is not directly linked. In fact, I shouldn't take that one. I should take what is more pertinent right now. And Animitra, I'll just come to yours. Mehul has asked, Mehul, what is the lesson from your story? Encourage local development of defense equipment versus costly import. And I'll add to that, sir, this question. I also had this question in my mind. We used to, I mean, things are changing, but हम बहुत costly equipments खरीदते हैं, use करते हैं. और आपने वो जो एक बहुत pertinent बोला कि पिन जो है वो गोल्ड का या सिल्वर का हो जाए तो वो अप्रूवल हो जाता है. कीपिंग दैट इन माइंड, ये जो इंपोर्ट की स्टोरी है या ये जो पूरा जो इकोसिस्टम है, ये किस तरीके से हम इसको चेंज कर सकते हैं? विद योर एक्सपीरियंस, यू हैव सीन जीओसी, यू हैव सीन सीओएस, यू हैव सीन स्पेशल सेक्रेटरी, ये पूरा इकोसिस्टम है. सो ये किस तरीके से होना चाहिए? और ये जो पुश हो रहा है अभी, मेक इन इंडिया एंड इंपोर्ट रेस्ट्रिक्शंस, how exactly do you see that is happening, especially with your experience? So over to you with that question, sir.
I feel things are changing for better than it was earlier. However, the basic ecosystem, the word you used is very, very important. That ecosystem is same, and that ecosystem is not likely to go. They will continue functioning like that only. It is once in a while individual has to rise against the system, but it is so tiring. It is like, and it is so suffocating. It is so embarrassing. I can't explain this to you. It is like one becomes breathless with this kind of ecosystem. They make you bang your head on the wall. It's just like they stonewall your projects. I am showing that how every terrorist can be killed. Within my sector, I am getting 100% kill. Moment there is an active transmitter, it is neutralized. Active transmitter, neutralized. When I am trying to take it as a bigger platform, nobody is listening. Why this is happening is thanks to that ecosystem. They want to buy sophisticated electronic warfare equipment from abroad. There are many things which we are developing now. We, right from the independence till this date, they were being imported. Like electronic warfare equipment इंडिया में बन भी सकता है, ऐसा कोई सोच ही नहीं सकता. ऐसा क्यों है? इसके लिए कहाँ फायदा होता था? What I used to hear कि कांग्रेस पार्टी used to get a lot of collection from that. That is what I heard. That is again hearsay. I don't know, because I am not much politically connected, so I can't comment. But I had heard from the right people that this is chanda system hota hai actually. Now, moment you make a silver or gold ka pin, there are a whole lot of chain which benefits from that.
सर एक क्वेश्चन और है इसमें, वो है फ्रॉम अभय, और and I will add to that question, what should we do to move ahead? Now, I'm connected with officers, कई officers हैं, young officers हैं, और even the civilian fraternity जो कि अपने startups लेकर आ रहे हैं. उस एक तो वो तरीका है जो मुझे नजर आ रहा है सर, बट आपका एक्सपीरियंस क्या कहता है, ये जो इकोसिस्टम है इसको वेड थ्रू कैसे किया जाए? एक तो सेल्फ एम्पावरमेंट के लिए, और दूसरा जो आपने बोला कि यू बैंग योर हेड अगेंस्ट द सिस्टम, तो जो इंडिविजुअल है, सिस्टम एक बहुत बड़ा, सिस्टम इज अ बिग वर्ड, तो उसमें जो इंडिविजुअल है उसकी एग्जिस्टेंस नहीं है, उसको तो बहुत जल्दी क्लीन अप किया जा सकता है. तो हाउ एग्जैक्टली डू यू थिंक the youngsters, because the whole idea of this platform is to encourage youngsters to be able to think, जो आपने बोला इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वॉरफेयर हमारे यहाँ बन सकता था, ये कोई सोच नहीं सकता था. तो ये किस तरीके से, how exactly do we from your perspective do we give an idea that yes, this can happen, you can fight against the system, or you can create an alternate system or something, whatever your experience?
Your question is already given the answer actually. The startups that youngsters are getting, and the Make in India, that project from the PM is a wonderful thing actually. Moment they start making in India, they employ Indians and they start competing with our own startups, our youngsters getting the idea, they will certainly, and our youngsters can deliver. It is, if you go abroad and see those labs, you will find Indians working there. Our own, now the kind of semiconductor push that government has given, biggest problem was semiconductors that we were not making. Now that semiconductor push is there, the whole lot of electronics, at least electronics part, I can tell that we'll get a lot of independence thanks to that semiconductor thing. We have years to catch. It will not happen overnight. Even system doesn't change overnight. But thing is that the corruption is so much that even present people also may not be untouched. They may also get into it. There's always a risk of they also getting into it. But what you said carries the answer. The youngsters starting the startup, and we should have more and more incubation center for them, especially in army headquarters, in command headquarters, in corps headquarters, even right up to units. We should have incubation centers where these startups should be incubated. Currently, army में there is only once a year, साल में एक बार एक MOD प्रगति मैदान में एक करता है, एक मेला स्टार्टअप्स करता है, एक मेला टाइप का करता है. But at every level in the hierarchy, there should be an incubation center, like in your management institutes or engineering colleges have these days. Even army should have incubation center where people with the innovative mindsets can be made officer in charge. They should be, and then local requirement innovatively how they are handling can be shared with others. And these days,
Sir,
moment you have something,
I will ask you. I'm sorry interrupting you, because right at that moment I wanted to ask you something. You said a very, very important point. The soldier on the ground, like you said, unit. वो यूनिट को पता है कि ग्राउंड पर हमारा कौन सा रडार काम नहीं कर रहा है, कौन सा वेपन काम नहीं कर रहा है, कौन सी साइट काम नहीं कर रही है. तो वो जो सेंट्रल प्रोक्योरमेंट हो रहा है मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस या DRDO के थ्रू, वो शायद ग्राउंड पर उतना एप्लीकेबल नहीं है. So I've seen my own example in counter-terrorism operations, so we have seen that. But my question remains, इसी में आपसे क्वेश्चन मैं पूछ रहा हूँ, ऐड कर रहा हूँ सर. Then we'll get back to some other questions which are non-technology centric. These things जो आपने बोला, this is very innovative, very applicable. But all of this requires permissions. Permissions come, as we know, in a democratic setup. Military is controlled by the bureaucracy and the politicians or the politics or the executive, permanent and the political executive. तो permissions आएंगी नहीं या उनके अपने interest होंगे. तो how exactly do you think something can be bypassed? या कुछ ऐसा हो रहा है कि इतना empowerment आ रहा है जैसे कि defense procurement अभी at the commander level, military commander level होना शुरू है. तो do you see such kind of opportunities coming in? या कोई रास्ते हैं जो बनाए जा सकते हैं, knowing your background dealing with MOD, dealing with DRDO, dealing with army to in any case?
So firstly, there is no comparison in the days when I developed it and today. There is absolutely no comparison. Why I am saying that is, if you remember, during that time, it was General VK Singh who has written a letter. 15 दिन के तो एमुनिशन बचा था, एक हफ्ते के लिए कार्बाइन का एमुनिशन फायरिंग नहीं होता था. Or as officers, we were not able to fire our personal weapon for at least 4 or 5 years. No officer had fired his personal weapon. We reached that stage. Personal weapon के लिए जब ammunition नहीं था तो हम क्या expect कर, उस government से तो कुछ expect ही नहीं था. So I had worked during that period where totally, I don't know if it was done today, what kind of support I would have got, I don't know. But today things are happening. Today people are getting things they want. Moment there is a requirement for a weapon, before they put the things are there already there. That's what is, I'm told. I had retired, but we keep talking to the people at the unit level. Whatever their requirements are met fully. Your AD weapons, your RT guns, everything now is tiki-tiki-boo. What is required is there. We are sufficiently, equipped now. It was not there earlier. Earlier, even personal weapon, that was the example. That kind of thing was there. So we can't have that comparison. Now coming to today when they are getting everything that they are needing, uske liye there are many things actually happening. One is that this government is going bullish about defense. That is one thing. They are taking security very, very seriously, which was earlier not being taken. So that is one thing that has happened. We have very professional people looking after the national security. There's no doubt about that. And we are proud of that. We are safe because of them. And the entire country should be grateful to them. That is happening. But still, that ecosystem doesn't die, as I told you. What is the biggest difference from my time and today is the social media. In my time, even there was no Facebook. Forget about WhatsApp. There was no Facebook. So if there was a WhatsApp today, and if Col Sandeep Sharma had done the innovation today, in today's WhatsApp time, I would have shared with everybody by now. Though it is not permitted, unofficially we do convey a lot of things with each other. So I would have actually conveyed to my friends everywhere, all over, and people follow each other's good practice in no time.
So let me ask you, stopping you. Yeah. Stopping here, sorry for the interruption, but very important. You said social media. So that one thing, let me summarize. You said things are changing. जो आपके समय में था, अभी वो change काफी समय बदल चुका है. Leadership is there. यहाँ पर मैं आपको एक point out करना चाह रहा हूँ. So point out और question पूछना चाह रहा हूँ. आपने कहा leadership change हो गई है. Professionals have come in. What kind of leadership has changed? Are you saying the political leadership has changed? And I will come with a question. ये तो मैंने आपसे एक question पूछा, but I'll come with a question. The ecosystem is represented by, obviously, the lobby. Lobby is the political spectrum of the lobby. Or the most important is, as we have seen, the military is controlled by the bureaucracy. We do not have any representation in the bureaucracy. That is, हमारे जो officers हैं, if you know, and because that is something that I do on a personal basis as well. I coach officers to get into the civil services. So हमारी कोई representation या voice नहीं है. अब जब voice नहीं है तो उसके दो है. एक तो उसको वो connected नहीं है. जो bureaucrat है, as you know, civil services का जब IAS का जब एग्जाम होता है तो उसको वो एक हफ्ते के लिए किसी यूनिट में घूमने के लिए जाता है. If you know, सभी आते हैं youngsters, civil servants जब जाते हैं, that's all they know about army. Most of them don't even are not even able to understand the difference between a colonel and a brigadier. कि वो फर्क क्या है उसमें, and the kind of operational situations that are on ground. So when they sign files, their perspective is sitting in the North Block. How exactly do they sign files? They sign files from a very different perspective. तो एक तो हमारी representation नहीं है, voice नहीं है, और कोई connect नहीं है. Voice हो भी जाएगा तो connect नहीं है क्योंकि उसको ground का कोई experience नहीं है. The way you and me are, the way you just spoke, I was chuckling at some moments because I was able to relate. Oh, ये मेरे साथ भी हुआ था. अच्छा, ये मेरे साथ भी हुआ था. So I'm able to relate to a lot of things. The audience here is talking about it because they're emotional. They're emotional with our military sentiments. That's why they are the kind of questions. But we still do not have the voice in the bureaucracy. And the bureaucracy is ultimately recommending. Ministers के पास time नहीं है. Ministers are very limited. 5 minute मोदी के पास time होगा, but the bureaucrats, the principal secretary or the PMO secretary will advise. और उसको जो 2 घंटे advise होगा, वो आप और मैं नहीं करेंगे, वो तो कोई बाहर वाला करेगा. So I do see that as a gap, but that's just my view. But I wanted to get some perspective क्योंकि आपने कहा change हो रहा है, leadership change हो रही है, but my concern is that bureaucratic ecosystem is still not there and will not be there unless there is a bridge between the young officers making into the bureaucracy and be able to be the backbone or the bridge between these two systems. So ये मेरा view है sir, but I wanted to get your perspective. I have not seen that happening, and I tried.
So I'll try to explain this part. See, even the previous government and current government, there is marked change. However, if we stop comparing from them, if we, in isolation, if we start criticizing today's government, they are more interested in rhetorics. They are more interested in rhetorics, and they want to show the muscles less to the enemy, more to their own countrymen. Okay, we have muscles. And if you have to show muscles, you have to show the strength also. So they have to replenish us enough. They have to keep us enough stock. So they are giving us enough. So all army demands professionally, not their personal need, not their pay and allowances I am talking about. Only and only their weapons, arms and ammunition, their equipments, their vehicles are being looked after well. Because moment they fail somewhere, they will give the reason, our forces will give reason, कि हमने तो ये मांगा था आपने दिया नहीं. So they don't want to give us that chance. That is why they are giving this. So most of what current government is doing is rhetorics. There is no doubt about that. If the government was sincere about it, we wouldn't have seen few days back how chief and CDS were sitting behind. You must have seen that, what was circulated in WhatsApp. I mean, such incidents are happening so often. And actually, they had the respect for army, the respect for army officers, respect for our senior hierarchy has gone down as compared to previous. Because the earlier incumbent were at least corrupt, and they were making even our senior officers as their party. So there was a symbiosis, there was a bonding, there was a give and take bonding. So they used to give the respect also, they used to give the chanda also. But today it is not there. Today that bond is not there. So today they are thrown back. I mean, to only all their requirements are met, but they are in the dustbin today. Army is being treated like dirt. There is no doubt about that. I'm lucky. I in a nutshell, one sentence, if you want me to answer, I say that I am lucky that I retired today.
Understood, sir. Thank you for summing up. Sir, I'll move on to the other questions because this, again, as an emotional conversation can get into multiple because I came up with many ideas. But thank you. So now the question, sir. I'll come back to the original question, which is outside of this, which is unlike, this is from Animitra, unlike many nations, Indian civilians are yet to get familiar with the notion of struggling against enemies, foreign or domestic. So is it high time for this 75-year-old largest democracy to introduce Army Finesse in the curriculum as well as mandatory UCC? Not sure, maybe he meant NCC in university. तो कुछ होना चाहिए सर, कुछ मैंडेटरी बियॉन्ड अग्निवीर दैट वी हैव, व्हिच इज अगेन अ जॉब ओरिएंटेड थिंग, जिससे कि हम और इंटीग्रेट हो पाए विद द मिलिट्री ethos, military culture and military readiness.
UCC means, I hope he's not talking about conscription per se.
I think NCC, mandatory NCC is what I think he's saying in universities.
Certainly. Some form NCC, but rather I am for the conscription actually. I believe in conscription. At least 1 year or 2 years of conscription is must. 2 years for anybody entering government service, it should be there. Even unemployed youth, we can, at least for 2 years, we can hire. We can hire them for 2 years. That will solve a lot of problems, in the sense, a lot of indiscipline will go from the society also. They can learn so many good practices from army. But this is again a political decision. My saying will not change. But conscription is something which I believe right from the beginning, since my childhood. There are many countries which I hope many countries which follow conscription. There are pros and cons. There are pros and cons. Like there can be rise in violence once those people go out in the society. There are such things, such studies also. But overall, I feel I can go for conscription. I will suggest conscription. And regarding people having that what current education system we know is useless. And that new education policy is yet to take on fully. I think year 2026 or 2027 they are talking of now. I don't know whether it takes on. Even in the new education policy, there are a lot of flaws. Education policy has flaw. Now, how to cover it up? What all? Not only military things. I feel a lot of Indological stuff. Lot of our Indic wisdom has to be incorporated.
Got it.
And it has to
Sir,
be,
I will.
that thing has to be changed. Our
Sure.
teaching has to be changed.
Right. Sir, in the interest of time, I'll take, there are two more questions. One is from Swaminathan Sairam. Is it possible to get back POK?
Why not? It will happen. Eventually, it will happen. See, now again in my papers, I had written a lot about these things also. And some of my papers were running in 78, like books actually, 78 pages. You see, it is modern war is not fought on the bullets actually. It's all the economic front. And in economic front, we had crushed Pakistan today. It is matter of
Got it.
just few more years that it will automatically fall in our lap. It will just, we have to continue with this kind of pressure. What we are doing is that sustain this has to go on. In between, if there is a change in guard, like if there is a change in, there is a political leadership, then things will go wrong actually.
So the message is very important, sir. It will fall into the lap. But again, the kind of political leadership that will define when, if, and how. So that is what it is. And if it's still there. So a lot of people need to understand this is a rhetoric which goes on in the social media, news media, and whatnot. Army can do anything. It is army. When that whole fiasco happened,
I feel this will have minimal role of army. Firstly, secondly, there is one more thing. I don't know if there is a Muslim here, but my views against Islam are very strong. Azad Hind Fauj word, Azad is Urdu. I don't know how much people are receptive here. But you see, sooner or later, Islam is going to finish from the planet. Sooner or later. That is my thought process. With this kind of network, this kind of social media, this kind of internet, all this rubbish cannot survive very long. As people become more intelligent, people will get more people communicate with each other. They will realize themselves that they are into a wrong trap actually. They will automatically try to struggle out of that trap, and when they ask for the help, they will put their hands, then we will give our hands. Okay, please come out of that trap now. And moment Islam is finishing, POK will automatically finish. No, Pakistan ka wajood hi to Islam hai. Why POK? Entire Pakistan will collapse. Entire Pakistan is going to collapse. Because Islam is going to collapse sooner or later. It may take 30 years, 50 years, maybe 100 years. May not be in my lifetime, even maybe your lifetime. But it will happen eventually. It is not eternal. It is not eternal like Sanatan. Christianity we see is almost already perishing. So as I see, Sanatan will prevail sooner or later. Our biggest strength is that. Bullets are not our strength. We don't have to go and fight to get a POK. These things are happening at a totally different dimension. And I feel it will happen eventually.
Thank you, sir. Now we have one of our audience members who's on camera as well, Mr. Virender. I'll read his question and also request him in case he wants to ask. आप पूछ भी सकते हैं. So, how did you manage to cope up with the opposite current and the frustration of not being listened to when you know you have a great idea? So, Mr. Virender, please, you can unmute yourself if you want to ask, you since you are on camera. Please feel free.
Okay, I just want to know, is it from some army officer or some civilian?
I believe he does not have the military background, but maybe he's connected. But over to you, Mr. Virender.
Thank you, Major Himanshu and Kansal. Namaskar, Jayuday. It's a great story to listen. कि एक पिन से हम जो कर सकते थे वो एक सोने की पिन ने करने नहीं दिया हमें. एंड और आई हैव बीन फेसिंग कि सिविलियन लाइफ में भी ऐसा बहुत बार होता है कि जो क्रीम होती है, जिसके पास एक विचार है, एक सोच है, somehow बिकॉज ऑफ द इकोसिस्टम वो आगे नहीं बढ़ पाते. और जब यूथ होता है, एनर्जी रहती, तब तक तो हम लड़ते हैं. फिर एक टाइम आता है जब लगता है कि छोड़ो, हटाओ यार, छोड़ो, अपना करते चलो, अपने दायरे में जितना हो सके उतना करें. तो ये मैंने काफी है. तो आपका ना गजब का आइडिया, और 15 साल में कहाँ से कहाँ पहुंच जाता. तो अभी आपको क्या लगता है कि वो फ्रूटफुल नहीं हुआ? आप धर्म सना से जुड़े, इसीलिए somehow you might have tackled it in a very different way.
मैंने जब आर्मी छोड़ दी थी तो उसके बाद मुझे पता लगा था कि मेरे आइडिया को यूज करके काफी लोगों ने और भी काम किया, और hundreds thousands ऑफ टेररिस्ट हैड बीन किल्ड बेस्ड ऑन माय आइडिया ओनली. लेकिन वो मुझे बाद में, मुझे किसी ने क्रेडिट नहीं दी, ना मुझे किसी ने लेटर भेजा, ना किसी ने फोन करके बताया. पर वहां जो अपने जूनियर्स अभी सीनियर पोजीशन में बैठे रहते हैं, वो बताते रहते हैं कि सर आपका आइडिया यूज करके हम अभी भी ऐसा करा रहे हैं, और अभी भी हमने सैकड़ों मार लिए, हजारों मार लिए, ऐसे बताते रहते हैं. अभी भी सुन के अच्छा लगता है. बट इतना, लेकिन मैं कैसे करता था, मैं आपको मेथोडोलॉजी बताता हूँ कैसे करता था. अब मैं जैसे मैं अपना आइडिया लेके किसी जनरल के पास गया, सपोजिंग कोई है, अपने ब्रिगेडियर के पास गया, पहले उसको मैंने एक पावर पॉइंट प्रेजेंटेशन दिया. 1 घंटे का मेरा पावर पॉइंट प्रेजेंटेशन होता था, कम से कम 70-80-100 स्लाइड तक होती थी. बहुत, उसमें पूरा डिटेल, पूरा ट्रायल रिपोर्ट, सब कुछ होता था, और परफेक्ट प्रेजेंटेशन होता था. बाय द टाइम, and I used to ask them only one thing, कि you will not get up when I am giving presentation. अपने सीनियर ऑफिसर्स को मैं ऐसे ही बोलता था कि आप, जब मैं प्रेजेंटेशन दे रहा हूं, आपको लास्ट तक सुनना है, उसके बाद आपको जो डाउट है मुझे बताना है. तो मैं किसी ब्रिगेडियर के पास गया, तो मैं ब्रिगेडियर के पास जाके उसको पूरा प्रेजेंटेशन देता था, और तो उस दौरान ब्रिगेडियर उसमें नुक्स निकालते रहते थे, गलती निकालते रहते थे कि ये तो हो नहीं सकता, ये आप हवा में बात कर रहे हो कर्नल साहब, ये तो हो नहीं सकता. तो मैं वो सारा नोट कर लेता था, 1 2 3 4 5 जो वो बताता था ना, आई नेवर यूज्ड टू आर्ग्यू विथ हिम. और मैंने वो 5 पॉइंट नोट कर लिए, और उसके बाद जब प्रेजेंटेशन खत्म हो गया, मैं थैंक यू बोल के रूम में आके लैपटॉप में उन 5 चीजों पे फोकस करता था कि वो 5 चीज के लिए क्या क्या किया जा सकता है एड्रेस करने के लिए. और फिर उन 5 का सॉल्यूशन निकाल के फिर मैं उसके सीनियर के पास चला जाता था प्रेजेंटेशन देने. उसके पास नहीं जाता था, उसके सीनियर के पास चला जाता था. जैसे कोई मेजर जनरल है, ब्रिगेडियर के पास मेजर जनरल होते हैं, उनके पास चला गया. अब वो मेजर जनरल के पास प्रेजेंटेशन दूंगा तो वो 5 का नुक्स में निकाल देता था. तो वो नेचुरली उसको फोन करेगा, बोलेगा यार तेरा जो सिग्नल ऑफिसर है वो तो ये बोल रहा है, ऐसे कर रहा है, तू क्यों नहीं कर रहा उसके कोऑपरेट. तो अच्छा, वो जब मैं वो 5 निकाल देता तो वो 2 और नुक्स निकाल देगा उसमें. वो बोलेगा ये गलतियां हैं, ये गलती है, आप ये नहीं कर सकते. तो मैं उससे भी आर्ग्यू नहीं करता था. फिर मैं रूम में जाके वो 2 का, फिर उसका, इट यूज्ड टू टेक मंथ्स. अब वो 2 में हो सकता है 1 दिन 2 दिन में ठीक हो जाए, हो सकता है महीनों लग जाए. पर मैं वो योगा वाला आदमी हूं ना, तो मेडिटेट करते समय भी सोचते सोचते कहीं ना कहीं से एग्जिस्टेंस से मदद मिल जाती है. तो वो 2 का आंसर जैसे ही मिल गया तो 2 स्लाइड और बना के उसका भी आंसर डाल दिया, और फिर उसके बाद उसके सीनियर के पास चला गया. ऐसे करता था. मैंने कम से कम भी 20-25 जनरल्स को प्रेजेंटेशन दिया होगा, और कोई भी प्रेजेंटेशन 1 घंटे से कम का नहीं था. 1 घंटा, 1.5 घंटे का, 2-2 घंटे का होता था. एंड दे यूज्ड टू थ्रैश मी. वो मुझसे उल्टे सीधे कुछ भी क्वेश्चन पूछते थे, और मैं सारे आंसर करता था, उनको सेटिस्फाई करता था. तब जाके मेरा ये इंप्लीमेंट हुआ था पूरा. तो इसमें मतलब मुझे मदद तो काफी मिली, लेकिन काफी प्रॉब्लम्स भी मुझे हुई. मेरा सब कुछ जला दिया गया था, मेरा सब कुछ जल गया था. जब मैं माहौर में था, मैं जिस रूम में था, मेरा जूता तक, मेरे यूनिफॉर्म तक, मेरी कोई चीज, मेरा चश्मा उश्मा सब जल गया. सब कुछ, मैं जिंदा बचा था बस. मैं पूरा, बस कुछ भी नहीं बचा था मेरा. और मेरा बस मेरे रूम में एक रामकृष्ण परमहंस की फोटो रहती थी. रामकृष्ण परमहंस, शारदा देवी और माँ काली की एक फोटो रहती थी, प्लास्टिक की फोटो. पूरा सब कुछ जल गया, वो प्लास्टिक की फोटो, और मैं बच गया. और बाकी सब कुछ जल गया, सब कुछ जल के राख हो गया. और ऊपर से मुझे बोला कि आपका आई कार्ड गुम हो गया था, इसलिए आपने आई कार्ड को जलाने के लिए ऐसा किया. क्योंकि आई कार्ड गुम होना 6 मंथ्स सीनियरिटी लूज होती है उसमें. मुझे उसके लिए मुझे काफी हैरास किया गया, सालों मुझे हैरास किया गया उसके लिए। मैंने वो सब कभी बोला नहीं किसी को, पर आई लॉस्ट एवरीथिंग इन दैट। वो कम से कम मेरा पर्सनल सामान पूरा जल गया था उसमें। मुझे एक मतलब मेरे पास कपड़ा भी नहीं था एक पहनने का। तो ऊपर उसी दौरान मुझे काफी जिंदगी में मतलब काफी मैच्योरिटी भी मैंने प्राप्त की। पर मैंने मिराकल देखे ना, ये भी तो एक मिराकल ही था। कैसे आप बताइए, मतलब एक कमरे में सब कुछ जल जाए और खाली मैं जिंदा बच रहा हूँ और वो रामकृष्ण परमहंस प्लास्टिक के बच रहे हैं, कैसे हो रहा है? आई डोंट नो। तो कोई अज्ञात शक्ति मुझे मदद करती थी साथ में, मुझे पता नहीं कौन था।
I'll have to again move on. Thank you for this answer and question as well. सर एक क्वेश्चन और है, which is हमने अभी आपने सनातन की बात करी कि हमारी बुलेट से ज्यादा सनातन, ये जो हमारी विजडम है या हमारा जो कल्चर है वो ज्यादा स्ट्रेंथ है। बट क्वेश्चन काउंटर उसमें ये आया है सर, क्रिश्चियनिटी इज स्प्रेडिंग फास्ट इन इंडिया, दिस इज फ्रॉम मंगेश, इफ वन इज इन टच विद रियलिटी 50,000 villages converted in 2021, entire north is gone. And then we have the desire to establish Sharia from Muslims or Islamic fundamentalism, and vandals putting up cow slaughter. I think that's what he indicate. तो ये सब हो रहा है, डेफिनेटली ये हो रहा है सर। एक्सपेंशन का पूरा है, फंडामेंटलिज्म का पूरा प्रोसेस चल रहा है। हाउ डू यू सी व्हाट यू जस्ट सेड, हाउ डू यू एस्टैब्लिश द रीइटरेट दैट फैक्ट कि सनातन जो है, इस्लाम आउट होगा, क्रिश्चियनिटी आउट होगी? सर्टनली आई सी इन यूएस, आई सी, आई मीन इन नॉर्थ अमेरिका, पीपल आर questioning the reason. In fact, I'll before we move on, I had a good white American friend, and he himself said, he didn't ask me anything about Hinduism, but or Hindu culture or Sanatan culture, but he said कि क्या करते हैं, हर संडे को मुझे बुला लेते हैं और डराते हैं। Exact words. That guy was about 38, 39, married guy. He said बुला लेते हैं हर संडे को क्रिश्चियनिटी चर्च में, हमको डराते हैं, meaningless. I have stopped going there. This is coming in from one person. Certainly people are questioning. I see that, but ये भी true है सर। तो ये कैसे आप and then follow up इसमें ये है, Islamics in India want to establish Sharia by 2047. ये कुछ न्यूज में सोशल मीडिया में आ रहा है। And women in Hyderabad are radicalized so much they want to burn down Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. Yes, radicalization भी है, and democracy should give way to benevolent dictatorship. ये एक recommendatory tone में है सर, but आपका क्या व्यू है, knowing that that is also a true fact? इनफैक्ट मैं इसमें ऐड करूंगा, राम मंदिर के ऊपर थ्रेट आ गया, विच इज एक रिलीजियस स्ट्रक्चर के ऊपर थ्रेट, ये यहीं आता है और बाकी जगह नहीं आता है। सो व्हाट्स योर व्यू सर?
तो एक तो ये जो पहले कन्वर्ट हो रहे हैं, ये तो राइस बैग्स हैं, सभी हम जानते हैं। दे आर ऑल फॉर द मनी एंड स्मॉल ल्यूक्रेशन दे आर डूइंग। नाउ फर्स्टली आप देखिए, यूरोप में संडेज को चर्च खाली है। यूरोप में संडेज को लोग चर्च में जा नहीं रहे, बंद कर दिया उन्होंने। इन यूएस ऑल्सो सेम थिंग इज हैपनिंग। चर्चेज आर संडे मासेस खाली जा रहे हैं वहां पे। यूएस और यूरोप में ये हाल है। अब वहां पे उसमें जो इस्लाम का जो चक्कर है, इस्लाम का तो जो जहां पे हुआ, इस्लाम जो मेन चीज, यूरोप और यूएस में क्रिश्चियनिटी का ये हाल है। अरब में आप सऊदी अरब में आप देख लो क्या हो रहा है, यूएई में क्या हो रहा है। वहां पे एक इस्लाम का एक रेनेसां चल रहा है। वहां पे लेडीज को मोर एंड मोर पावर लेडीज आर गेटिंग। वहां पे पब्लिक में डेसिबल अनाउंस हो गया कि इतने डेसिबल के ऊपर आप नमाज नहीं कर सकते। जहां पे इस्लाम शुरू हुआ था, मक्का, जहां पे सऊदी अरब, वहां पे ये हाल है। सो इट इज हैपनिंग। तो ओरिजिनल प्लेसेस जो है वो छूटते जा रहे हैं ग्रिप से, तो दे आर लुकिंग फॉर द न्यू प्लेसेस। और इनका गजवाए हिंद तो आप सही कह रहे हो, वो तो मोहम्मद साहब का ख्वाब था, वो तो इनका मेन मिशन था एक्चुअली। वो अभी तक इनका पूरा नहीं हुआ है। लेकिन आप एक बार सोच लो, पूरा अर्थ एक बार ग्रीन हो गया, पूरा अर्थ अगर इस्लाम हो गया, तब भी मैं बोलता हूं 50 साल बाद, 100 साल बाद इस्लाम खत्म हो जाएगा। क्योंकि सेंस प्रिवेल करेगा ना आदमी को कभी तो। हाउ लॉन्ग पीपल विल एक्सेप्ट दिस बुलशिट? एक टाइम आएगा, आदमी एक टाइम पे बोलेगा नहीं यार, कि क्या है इलॉजिकल चीज है। इतना सेंस तो आएगा टाइम के साथ। और सनातन में जो डेप्थ है, सनातन विल राइज लाइक फोनिक्स। दैट इज व्हाई इट इज सनातन। इट इज कॉल्ड सनातन इज प्राकृत धर्म। प्राकृत मीन्स इट इज नेचुरल। इट इज नेचुरल रिलीजन। इट इज नॉट ए रिलीजन। धर्म तो और कोई है ही नहीं। दे आर ऑल रिलीजन। वी आर नॉट रिलीजन। हिंदुइज्म इज नॉट ए रिलीजन। in today's form it has become religion, unfortunately. Now problem is, हमारा सनातन भी तो खराब ही हो गया है। जो हिंदुत्व है वो क्या बहुत अच्छा है, मुझे वो भी नहीं ठीक लगता। I don't admire that at all. क्या करें हम? बिकॉज यू सी द सनातन विच इज एक्चुअल सनातन जो हमारा होता था, दैट वाज धर्म, एंड धर्मा इज नॉट रिलीजन. वी हैव टू क्लियरली अंडरस्टैंड दिस. धर्मा इज नॉट रिलीजन. धर्मा मीन्स व्हाट? धर्म मतलब जिसको जो करना चाहिए एज पर आर इंडिक वैल्यूज. इवन नॉन लिविंग थिंग्स हैव रिलीजन. धर्म है, रिलीजन नहीं, धर्म. नॉन लिविंग, एक इस पेन का भी एक धर्म है, इस पेन का भी एक धर्म है, इस मोबाइल का भी एक धर्म है, जो इसका करना चाहिए, जो इसका कैरेक्टरिस्टिक. ऑक्सीजन गैस का भी एक धर्म है. धर्म मीन्स क्वालिटी भी होता है, धर्म मीन्स कैरेक्टरिस्टिक भी होता है, धर्म मीन्स फीचर्स भी होता है. तो धर्म का मतलब वो होता है. रिलीजन ये तो संप्रदाय है एक्चुअली. ये सनातन के एक तरह से संप्रदाय हैं. जैसे और ये राक्षसी शक्ति तो कब नहीं थी? कौन से युग में नहीं थी? आप बता दो कोई एक युग जिसमें नहीं हो. त्रेता युग में भी थी, सतयुग में भी थी. जो भी युगास हुए, हर युग में एक डेमोनिक पावर तो था ही ना. आज के दिन में तो वो कम है, पहले तो और ज्यादा थे वो, पर बहुत ज्यादा थे पहले एंटायर सदर्न हेमिस्फीयर ऑफ ग्लोब वाज रूल्ड बाय डेमंस. मय दानव जो उनका राजा होता था, मयन किंगडम था लैटिन अमेरिका में. तो एंटायर मतलब पूरा जो उनका डेमंस का जो स्टेट होता था बहुत बड़ा होता था. अब तो बहुत कम है, और टाइम के अब पहले से कम है, तो हमको घबराने की बात नहीं है. वी हैड सीन वर्स्ट ऑफ द टाइम. वी शुड हैव फेथ इन आवर ओन वैल्यूज एंड टीचिंग्स एंड वी शुड कंटिन्यू. ये लोग करेंगे, ये तो चलता रहेगा. लेकिन अभी हम देख रहे हैं कि हम लोग भी वैसे बनते जा रहे हैं. व्हेन वी आर फाइटिंग विद पिग्स वी बिकम डर्टी. आप सुअर से कुश्ती लड़ोगे तो आपको कीचड़ सन जाता है बॉडी में. तो हम उनसे लड़ने जाएंगे तो हम उनके जैसे बन गए, और हम उनके जैसे बनते जा रहे हैं लड़ने की कोशिश में. हमको उनके जैसे लड़ना नहीं है. हाँ, हमको अपने भाइयों को समझाना है, उनको दोबारा घर वापसी करा सकते हैं या जो भी. आई डोंट नो, वट एवर दे कैन डू. In fact, sooner or later, all these Muslims will also become Hindus. You see, it will happen. Maybe 50 साल लगेगा, 100 साल लगेगा. एक्स मुस्लिम हम जानते हैं, एक्स मुस्लिम का जो मूवमेंट शुरू हुआ है, एंड दिस इज पिकिंग अप लाइक एनीथिंग.
Sir, thank you so much. I'll have to again interrupt, and again, in the interest of time, we have certainly crossed over, so we'll have to stop. But sir, thank you for giving that perspective. So yeah, thank you, Mangesh. So I'll summarize. Yes, just like you said, and the reason I'm summarizing, one request has come to speak in one of the audiences had, I think, some issues understanding in Hindi. So this good and evil, if we all are on the same page, the good, the Sanatani values, ever-present values, those are good. They will always be there. They will always persevere. We have to do our duty. We have to communicate, and communicate not as a religion, communicate not as fanaticism, but communicate as logic. I'll tell you, for this audience, I'm friends with a very dear Muslim officer. He's an Air Force officer, Wharton grad, very dear officer, mentor to me. When I go to him, we discuss. He does not discuss Islam. He discusses the Sanatan values, the values that he finds rational and logical. But there may be some fanatical ideas in our culture as well, which Colonel Sharma just elucidated. Those are the problems that people will get away from us. So we have to make sure that the strength that we have, we bring out, because the strength is rational, strength is scientific, strength is ever-present, eternal. That is where it will certainly go away. And I'm sure there are many examples. Sitting here in North America, I can tell you, I see left, right, and center, a lot of people wanting to get away from this very fundamentalist approach of whether Christianity, whether Jews. I was at the airport in New York 2 months back, and I was handed over by a Jewish young boy, about 8 years old, some testament or something, whatever they have in their own language, saying one of the lines was idolatry or the idol worship is prohibited or should be banished. This was happening on New York airport 2 months back. But does that mean that New York, the Jewish, they are all into that idea? No, they are questioning that idea. That's why they are coming to us. There are a lot of Jewish women that I am aware of. They're getting married to Indian men as well. Why? Indian Hindu men. So things are changing. Yes, there is a chasm that you said. So we will certainly have to be very positive about it. With that, we'll have to end now. Thank you so much. And
if I have to summarize my contribution in one sentence,
yes,
I will say that I said 100% terrorists can be killed. I emphasize this in all my presentation to all generals used to end with this one sentence, that 100% terrorists can be killed. That used to be my conclusion, last slide of the conclusion. And today, fortunately, 100% terrorists are getting killed. So my achievement to my life is environment has changed its approach towards counter-terrorist operation, that yes, 100% terrorists can be killed. Moment a call sign is active, it can be neutralized.
Thank you so much, sir. I will share with you, Mangesh, my number. In fact, I will post it here itself. And Karan Sharma has also given the number. So anyone wanting to connect, please feel free to connect with both of us. Sir, thank you so much. Wonderful speaking with you. Not only speaking with you, but seeing the journey that you've undertaken, and steadfastly you've stood against that wall, banged your head, and yet survived. And here you are from Ayodhya to Banaras, and we wish that Banaras grows with your contribution. And we look forward to more such interaction with you. And the audience, thank you so much for spending time today. We will certainly look forward to more such interactions in future. Have a good day wherever you are. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Bye-bye. Jai Hind.
Thanks, everyone. Namaskar.